Chapman for 32, almost 33 years. It's a great company. We've built it from 10 people not all that long ago to 32 people today. We continue to grow. We're hiring people all the time. If there's one thing that I could do, like before my time is up at Chapman, it is making sure that we've built a company that will stand the test of time. And my goal as the current owner of the company, or one of the owners of the company, is to ensure that we can pass the ownership of the organization on to the next generation of people coming up the ranks today. One area of our business where we impact the local communities pretty heavily is the school systems. So we work for school systems all over the northern part of the state of New Jersey. We operate their water systems, their wastewater systems. We do a lot of their permitting and compliance work, and we ensure that the water that the kids drink is clean. We go out and do the sampling to ensure that it's not contaminated. And we also treat the wastewater that's being generated at a lot of these facilities as well before it gets discharged to the environment. So we are supporting the local community through supporting the boards of education and the local school systems.
All About Bugs Tennessee Pest and Termite Control is all about family too. Our family-owned business has successfully been in operation in Sevierville and surrounding areas for almost a decade. Especially during these times, a pest-free home is necessary for a sustainable, disease-free home or business. Our services include residential, rental, commercial, hotel, motel, cabins, you name it. Free quotes and inspections for new customers, and most of our services are contract-free. Our All About Bugs Tennessee family is devoted to delivering the best possible pest control service with a friendly smile. Contact us at 865-453-5574 today.
If it's bugging you, you should be bugging us.
This week, the schedule flips to the third road race of the year, the only one held on public streets. The tight confines of this course will challenge every driver on every corner of every lap. Live from the streets of Chicago, it's the Chapman Environmental Services Cup Series, presented by Racing Revolution. I'm your host, Morgan Cook. Alongside me, Bradley Cooper, and we are live on B-Speed.
Yeah, thanks for having me in here, Morgan. I am excited. Chicago Street Course was amazing to watch in the Cup Series just this past weekend, so I'm excited to see it here live from the Chapman Environmental Services Cup Series as well. And it's going to be a show between Trevor, Keith, and of course, we're going to have Burns out there holding it down. Those guys very close in qualifying, so it should be a good event, but I think everybody else is going to be competing for third.
That's right. We welcome you, ladies and gentlemen, to the virtual streets of Chicago for the Erhardt Homes Street Race. Should be a thrilling one, as we're going to lead you to it here in the next 2.5 minutes before they hit the grid. Let's have a look at our points that we've accumulated throughout the season. Last week in Nashville, it was a thriller. iRacing got DDoS. Travis Gilbert had the dominant car before a disconnect ended his night early. And Jeremy Burns' point lead grew by 1 to 92. Can he make it an even 100 before the playoffs? The rest of the points look like this. Dave McDonald, Rob Rader, Alex Forget, James Loveland are your top 5. The rest of the drivers in the top 20 are on the screen. Playoff cut line, that yellow one between 16 and 17. Be a race to watch, a lot of close points battles still with, I believe, 6 races until the playoffs begin. Let's have a look at this racetrack. Why don't you walk us through it here, Bradley?
Well, just over 2 miles, this Chicago street course incorporates parts of Michigan Avenue and Lakeshore Drive, and a very unique but nearly figure-8 layout, as you can see right there, where they almost touch corners there in the middle. The picturesque city setting features Grant Park, the iconic Buckingham Fountain among the historic buildings, the iconic skyscrapers in the background. It's mixing full throttle straightaways with heavy braking corners. Every one of these corners is going to feel like landing a 747 right before you shoot at 90 degrees. Not a lot of passing opportunities, a lot of opportunities for mistakes. So these guys are going to have to nail every corner perfectly. And I mean, you've seen it just last weekend. It's very easy to end up in a tire barrier at this place.
And you can thank iRacing for this track existing, period. They're the ones where this track was first rendered. And NASCAR liked it so much, they decided to make it their own. With all that being said, let's have a look at the race analysis up on your screen. 38 laps today, half of the full distance of the Cup race on Sunday. 35-mile-an-hour pit road speed, 5 sets available. Probably won't change them at all. However, 3 green checker attempts, which will be tough because I don't believe cautions are on for this session. Stage at lap 10. Fuel run is about 16 in the iRacing fixed setup, as always. Got about 20 seconds before we grid, just enough time to talk about your Pole Award winner, Coastal Financial. That driver, none other than Jeremy Burns. Our mission at Coastal Financial is to provide comprehensive financial planning solutions tailored to each individual's unique needs and goals, with the aim of empowering our clients to make informed financial decisions and achieve their financial potential. You can find us at coastalfinancial.com or on Facebook at Coastal Financial. Thank you again for being the season-long Pole Award sponsor that is Coastal Financial. Congratulations to Jeremy Burns on what feels like his 30th pole this year. Although that is not how many. I have no idea how many poles he's won, but it's been a lot of them.
Well, I can tell you it's 5 races won, and this could be number 6 coming in here to today. Looking really good to start this thing out.
Definitely a good start. Let's have a look at your grid. Jeremy Burns, as we mentioned, on the pole. Trevor Keith right beside him. Only driver within a second is Trevor Keith in the 15. Starting in the 3rd spot today is going to be Justice Murphy in the 12. Tay McDonald alongside in the 29. 5th spot, Travis Gilbert. Dominant car last week. Connection issues forced his hand early. See if he can have a better night tonight. John Fike, been on a bit of a hot streak recently. He is in the 6th position. 7th spot, Jackson McGeorge in the 98. Steadily improving week after week. Parker Johnston, that's with a T, in the 48, will start P8. 9th position, Devin Hudgens in the 84. Great start for him. And in 10th, Kyle Diaz.
A familiar name for me here in 11th, Kevin Orlando Jr. Been on a racetrack with him a time or two. Trevor Erhardt on the outside of him in 12th position. Then in 13th, Rob Rader in the number 53. Michael Bennett in 14th. Grant Turner in 15th position. Caleb Gilbert, he has a win this season. He's locked into the top 16, and he'll be in the top 16 here tonight. James Loveland will start in 17th with Jacob Sirkovich in 18th. And rounding out your top 20, it's Matt Robinson and Tyler Harrison from row 10.
21st tonight will be Dustin Reinstedel in the 11. Carter Linz will start in the 22nd position. 23rd, Chris Nail in the 88. Daniel Holloway, the Candyman, will start 24th. 25th, Christian Bresnach in the 00. Nick Alves in the 24 will start 26th. That is row 13. 27th, Michael Call, Dylan Picklesheimer. We know these two really enjoy each other's company. They start in row 14. The 15th row, Al Likens in the 40. Alex Forget, first driver to not take time, will start 30th.
3 more cars here on the grid. Brandon Richardson in 31st. Darrell Johnson 32nd. And rounding out your field here today, we have Christopher Schaefer in the number 23. So a few cars electing not to take a time here. Very interesting, but I think this is going to be a war of attrition. And starting in the back, maybe not necessarily a bad thing. You probably could stand to get a top 15 before it's all said and done.
Yeah, this is absolutely a race where attrition will play a factor. Turn 1 is going to be nuts. Turn 2 is going to be nuts. And every corner thereafter is going to be a bit of a nightmare for the drivers behind the top 2. Cars miss their braking zones often at this racetrack. And you'll see a lot of mangled race cars. I had an estimate from another driver previous to this race. They said 8 cars will finish without damage. There are, I believe, 33 of them in the field.
33 opportunities for that. I mean, the odds are pretty good if he said 8, but I'm gonna take it a little further than that. I think half this field can make it without damage, but I think half this field will have something detrimental happen to the race, and I'd say we're probably gonna have at least 10 cars out of this thing before it's said and done.
I mean, the fact that we're talking about half the field possibly not having damage, I think that says how difficult this racetrack is here in Chicago. Find a camera view of these cars. These 90-degree corners and these public streets, not the greatest for camera angles. We're going to do our best here on V-Speed throughout the evening. Pace car's going to come in. I believe this is the last corner on the racing surface. Burns and Keith are going to lead them to green here. Green flag is out in Chicago.
Already into turn 1. Look at them scattering 3 wide back here. Some contact. Orlando just behind it there as they go into turn 1. I know we like to usually let these guys get around, but it's a solid 3 minutes in this outlap.
We got cars
here.
wrecking.
They got
Murphy.
contact. 22 in the wall.
That's Murphy and Gilbert wrecking. Just
look at everyone chicaning around them.
The drivers all over this racetrack already. Oh, we got cars in the wall. Just heard it. That John Fike, Tay McDonald caught the outside wall in the 29.
He actually has to toe to pit road,
Yeah,
Morgan. He got stuck.
That's a day ender, potentially, for the 29.
Devin Hudgens missing the front end of his car. Maybe that's Parker Johnson in the 48. Yes, the front end of the 48 car completely gone.
Yeah, it's back now, but it's one bump away from not being there again. You can just see
look, a few cars ahead of that. That's actually the 84 of Devin Hudgens, but Parker Johnson, he's the one missing the nose. He's got a modified through turn 5 here, and Rob Rader, he gained 9 positions with that outlap. We haven't even made it around this place one time yet. He's already up that many spots.
We saw him into turn 1, forced 3 wide on the bottom, was able to gain 2 spots for 1 right there, and made quick work of that slow 12 and 22 stuck up against the wall there after the first corner. He gained a lot of spots there. 48 coming to pit road.
Yeah, I was just about to mention, and the 84
So was
right
Hudgens.
behind them. They are beat up, the front end of that car. I'd say most of that damage came from the face plant of the wall in a corner. That just, I mean, the rest of the car looks fine, so that had to be kind of just shoved straight into a 90-degree angle.
Well, there's about 9 of them to choose from on this circuit.
Yeah.
Take your pick. You'll nose into any one of them. There's only 2 corners that aren't a 90-degree angle. 2 of them are 45s, and one's a loop. But a lot of hard corners here.
Oh, problems for Trevor Erhardt. He's around here. It looks like turn 1 or 2.
Going to be hard to get going, considering how wide that corner sweeps. Be very easy to have contact there. That cost him, I think, 9-10 spots.
We go back on the replay here. It looks like he just kind of lost it on his own. Something happened, technical issue. He got stuck to the wall. Kind of bizarre. He overshot the exit and snapped loose, and then once he got stuck in there, it was over. He just had to brake.
From running this track before, that's one of those corners where if you touch it with that the left side of the car, it'll pull the wheel right out of your hand if you have force feedback, and you won't be able to get back off the wall. So I think that's what happened there to the 41. Just an unfortunate break, caught it in a bad spot on that outside wall. Looks like we're mostly single filed out.
I was going to say a few cars falling out of the top 5, Justice Murphy has fallen back to 8th. Travis Gilbert, those two cars, I think, were caught up in that early. They didn't get damage from it, but they had to brake. There was nowhere for them to go. I'd look for them to rebound back to the top 5 here. But again, it's just looking like some of these guys took advantage of the carnage early, the chaos. As soon as that green flag dropped, we started seeing 3 wide into turn 1.
That biggest mover so far, Robert Rader, as well as Alex Forget, I believe, has gained a number of spots.
Yes, he has. And I told you, don't be worried about where Berube started this race. He was outside. He didn't take a time, but he was outside the top 20. He's on his way there. Already picked up 9 spots. He's gaining last time by a little bit quicker than the guys behind him, but not gaining too much. About 4/10 off of Daniel Holloway. But this time around, Holloway's actually being held up by Michael Call a little bit. So they're quickly accordioning back together here through turn 5.
This will be a battle before too long. Just how rough this racetrack is right now. This is coming into the second to last corner. Up this small straightaway, won't get to high gear here, but one more 90-degree before you get to the start-finish line once again.
No one else could probably relate to this, Morgan, but watching those McDonald's billboards all the way down the final 2 corners, it reminds me of coming home from, just traveling and having the boy in the back seat of the truck and saying like, oh, can we stop at McDonald's just before we're home? You're close to home when you're coming through those set of corners. And yeah, just something weird that went through my mind. That's how I measure. Oh, car on the wall back there.
That is not going to help the handle. He got the right front pretty good. I think he's got some wheel damage. Yeah, he can't brake straight. That's a toe link for sure.
He's going to have to nurse it back around this racetrack. It looks like the right front is locked up as well.
Yeah, that is unfortunate break. He was up there in the top 6 or so. Oh, he wanted driver cam, so we'll give him driver cam. There's Michael Bennett. Trying to nurse that 14 back to pit road. Slurp Soda's on the side of that 14.
If we could get an onboard on the gyro or something to see where the wheel alignment is.
Yeah, it's off a little bit,
sure.
definitely.
It is bumped a little bit. It doesn't look like it's too awful bad. He might keep going here. Yeah, it looks like he's going to keep on going around this place.
He will bypass pit lane.
He's about to be in a battle here.
Well, he's not about to be. He's in a battle. Tried to put the move on Grant Turner.
I just wonder if that right front, if that's going to interfere with the wear of that tire, that wheel's a little bit off. That's a little bit more toe than what these cars are actually designed for. So he'll eventually scrub that right front off. He probably won't notice it right now, but 10 more laps, it's definitely going to be a problem.
2 pieces of good news on that note. There's only 2 left-handers on this race course, if I'm not mistaken. All these 90 degrees are to the right, so that's going to wear the left front more than the right front. The other piece of good news, stage 5 laps from now. Be able to repair that damage without only losing track position, not time on the racing surface. So Michael Bennett still has a chance here, but that thing is crab walking all over the braking zones.
Do you want me to do the thing that Alex does?
Go ahead.
There are 6 right-handers in this racetrack.
Fantastic. Thank you. Appreciate that.
No problem.
Your leader, Jeremy Burns, led every lap so far from the pole. Only driver in the same zip code, Trevor Keith. 2 seconds back, 2.5 now. Robert Rader up to 3rd position, just past Fike. That puts him in the 3rd spot, just about 10 seconds back from our leader. John Fike is 4th. Gonna bring it back to Rader. Let's stick on this battle for a little while, see if they separate. Rader inches out just a little bit. I think that's 3 and 4. I don't remember. I've run here once. It was not terribly successful. I purged it from my memory. A lot of drivers feel that way about this racetrack.
Yeah, that was coming out of 3 right there, and it looks like Fike a little bit quicker last time by than the guys behind, but Raider has actually picked up the pace. He's running even with Trevor Keith right now. And this top 3, I think, is going to spread away from the rest of the field. I'm really impressed because Rob didn't really show in practice too much. And of course, with qualifying, he was back in 13th to start this race. So it kind of looked like he wasn't going to be a car that was in this top 5. He's made quick work of these guys, and it shows you that clean air is king here.
Yes, it is. These cars don't turn very well to begin with when there's something impeding them, like a car in front of them. Yeah, you need all the downforce you can get at this facility. Jackson McGeorge finds himself in P5 in the 98. Justice Murphy down to the 6th spot from 3rd. Kevin Orlando Jr. finds himself up 4 positions to 7th. Kyle Diaz in 8th spot. Travis Gilbert is 9th. And Grant Turner. There is a look at Grant. He finds himself in the 10th position. 11th spot, Michael Bennett. He is still doing his thing.
I mean, he's holding on to it. That looked like it locked up a little bit, but he's still trying to get around these guys. Even with that damage, he's still pretty fast.
He is, and he's going to take the fight to Turner right here. Not going to get the position. Maybe
he's
will.
Knocking on the door.
That was close. I think Turner caught the wall there.
That's what I was talking about in the pre-race, that there's not very many places that you can overtake. Oh, there's plenty of opportunities. A guy might leave the room there, but that doesn't mean you should take it. Just because you can doesn't mean you should. And so now you have to premeditate or wait on a guy to make a mistake. And sometimes you can use human error to force a guy into a mistake. Maybe cause him to,
There's
contact right there.
There's one.
Right there,
Yep.
You just use the bumper. That's a way to get around a guy. Just move him out of the way.
Absolutely is. Life lessons being preached here on V-Speed. They all single file out. Bennett takes the 11th spot. Gilbert finds himself in 12th. Zirkovich is 13th. We got passes up here for the lead. Keith's on pit road. So is Raider. Murphy,
Yes,
they're
he
trying to
is.
flip the stage.
They are. They're going to pit and try to put Burns behind him. Burns going to stay out. He's still out there on the racetrack, has over 13 seconds back to Fike. Jackson McGeorge up to 3rd. So this helps some of these guys that haven't really gotten stage points and have been, I know that Jackson McGeorge kind of turned on late here in the season, so he'll benefit the most from this, I would say. Kevin Orlando up to the top 5. Kyle Diaz in 5th. So we kind of flipped a lot of these drivers up a couple spots here, and it looks like they're going to sacrifice the stage points for the lead on lap 11.
That's right. And Keith still didn't fall outside of the top 10. Neither did Raider. They are 6th and 9th respectively.
What a lead. What a lead to do that.
Yeah, that's raw pace. That's all that is. Everyone's got the same setup here today. It all comes down to the driver. And yeah, to be that far ahead, be able to come down pit road at 35 miles an hour, make a pit stop, and still come out ahead of most of this field is pretty special.
So Burns actually electing to do that as well. So he calls a little audible, and I don't know. It's going to depend on how well did he get down pit road. Does he give up some time to these guys? I know nobody's taking tires here, but if he puts too much fuel in it, as it looks like he just tops off enough to make it. Back out on the racetrack. He did lose the lead to Fike, but it's only by about 9 seconds.
That's going to be a tall order, though. 9 seconds in 2 laps to get this stage win. If that's what Burns is looking for, and I have to think he is. We talked at the top of the show, that points lead, 92. He told me a couple weeks ago he wants to make it 102. That's 2 full races before the playoffs, just to say that he did.
Well, he's definitely going to have the bonus points in his favor, so even after the reset, he's still going to have a pretty sizable gap there between him and the rest of these guys. It'll be Rob Raider that'll be the closest there with his 4 wins. It looks like a bumper fell off a car here. Maybe the 84 got involved in something else here. Yeah, Hudges has definitely got the front end of that car missing.
Fikes is struggling too.
They must have hit each other. We're gonna have to. coming up on the stage, I know, but I'm going to go back here and try to figure out what happened to these two, because
Well, he does that. Let's start at 10th spot and work our way through the field here. Oh, Fike just about, or Likens again. Apologies, John Fike. This is Al Likens, who just about went around. Start at the top 10, work our way back through the field. This is Travis Gilbert in 10th. Caleb Gilbert right behind him in the 54. That's 11th spot. James Loveland at the V-Speed's own. He is 12th. Matt Robinson finds himself in 13th. Carter Linz up from 22nd spot to 14th. Tyler Harrison, I don't know, he's got a driver cam. There it is. He's doing his thing back in the 15th position. Chris Nail is in 16th, the Avocados from Mexico scheme. Justice Murphy is in 17th after he made his pit stop. Alex Forget up a bunch of spots. He is 18th in the 19th. Nick Alves is 19th. Michael Call finds himself in 20th. Richardson is 21st. Surkovich is in 22nd. Trevor Erhardt in the 41. There he is, running 23rd. Christian Bresnock in the 00. That's who that is, I promise you. Dustin Reinstedt, also no telemetry. He is in 25th. Daniel Holloway, the Candyman, 26th. Al Likens got back around Devin Hudgens. He is 27th. Hudgens, 28th. Picklesheimer, 29th, also running a modified. Daryl Johnson, 30th. Parker John Stunn, 31st. Christopher Schaefer, Kay McDonald have left the race.
well, it looks like John Fike has locked up this stage here as they cross the line for lap 11. They will throw the yellow flag as the 10th place driver crosses the stripe. He is coming out of the final corner right here with Travis Gilbert.
There he is.
And that will do it for stage number 1. John Fike gets the victory. He will get the points on top.
He's got to be careful here to not get caught up in this incident here with these two lap cars. It's a great way to ruin your race before it really starts. Here at the end of stage 1, big points for John Fike. Congratulations to him.
I just want to say Jeremy Burns did shave 2 seconds off, almost 3, before that stage fell. So if had it been another, 4 or 5 laps, he might have caught up to him. I mean, he was really trimming the time down.
I think John Fike is thankful that it was not another 4 or 5 laps, that was in fact the stage end. Points paid out, and they don't ask how, they just ask how many. Isn't that right, Bradley?
That is absolutely right. So he's going to benefit the most from these calls, but how long can he hold on to it? He will have Burns directly behind him going into turn 1, and if Burns gets a good restart, I know that some of these guys are going to be coming down pit road, but I think if I'm up front in front of Burns, I might just stay out just to see what happens. You might be able to hold him up and get him in a bad situation.
I think that is a good idea. Let's have a quick look at your top 10. John Fike obviously won that stage. Jackson McGeorge, second in that stage. Jeremy Burns rounds out the podium. Kevin Orlando Jr., that bright colored starry machine, in the 4th spot. Kyle Diaz is 5th. Trevor Keith finds himself in the 6th position. There's Trevor Keith right there. 7th is Grant Turner. There's Grant. His room isn't on fire today, so that's good. That's good. Just always concerned for his safety. The lights aren't flashing today. 8th was Rob Rader. 9th was Michael Bennett. There he is. Got the gloves and everything. Got a rally wheel. That's probably helpful here. Paddle shifters and all that.
It's a good thing he has the gloves on, because that force feedback was fighting him down that wall.
It was. At 10th spot, Travis Gilbert rounds out your points paying positions so far in this race. By the time we get back going, I imagine we'll have about 15 laps completed, working lap 15 maybe, somewhere in that area. Coming to pit road this time. Just over the bridge and on the little short chute. I'm not sure what this area is called, but it's Toyota Loop seems fitting.
Oh, I can tell you what Tyler Reddick calls it. Not a good day for him. He was definitely catching up, and we watched Alex Bowman. I don't know how many of you viewing right now tuned into that race, but it was actually time delayed, so they actually had a countdown. They never got the full race length in there, but it amounted to slick tires versus rain tires, and there was a threshold crossed where slick tires finally were up to pace. Tyler Reddick was catching Alex Bowman by about 2 seconds a lap. He was definitely going to be there at the end of the race, ended up making a mistake right there before that roundabout at the statue and just trimmed the wall. That's all it takes. One little miscalculation. We're talking about the factor of inches, even quarter of an inch here or there, that you could make a mistake and end your race.
See all the drivers on pit road here. Pretty much everyone in the top 10, save for Burns, Keith, and Rader.
Fike missed his stall. Or that was actually, yeah, it was John Fike in the 10. He overshot his pit box a little bit there. Doesn't look like it hurt him, though. He's going to come out ahead of these guys.
A lot of fuel-only stops
Somehow.
there. When you're only in the box for 7.1, it doesn't really matter. First driver off pit road.
Surprised, though, they didn't lose any spots at all. That was a pretty good overshot there.
I think that McGeorge maybe took 2 tires behind him. Looking at the time, it's 8.9 on pit road. That's usually a 2-tire stop. Fike's only on there for 7.1 seconds. That's fuel only for sure. Everyone behind McGeorge as well, Orlando, Turner, Diaz, Gilbert, Linz, Nail, they're all in the 7-second bracket. Matt Robinson, 2 tires as well at 10 seconds.
I believe Tyler Harrison would be the only car, unless he had some damage to repair, that took 4 tires. He's right at 15-second mark, and then Gilbert and those guys still getting damage repaired. There's a lot of cars still on pit road right now. Devin Hudgens and Michael Bennett, Dustin Reinstedel, Kristen Bresnock, they're all getting damage repaired right now. We still have 31 cars out here, but what we talked about in the pre-race, there's going to be at least 10 of them that are going to have just race-ending damage, that they're not going to advance positions. They're just trying to survive at this point.
That's right. Those cars are going to be ill handling. We saw the 14 in the braking zones. Every time we touched the brake pedal, it would wobble around. Those drivers are going to feel that and more throughout the rest of this race. I think it's time we take a quick step away. You have been watching the Chapman Environmental Services Cup Series here on the streets of Chicago. The Erhardt Homes Street Race. We'll be back right after this.
And here comes Milo, big run out of 4. He's going to be there.
Tristan Martin's there. Cannot count out to 37.
Oh!
Cabot,
Where did he come from?
Here
comes Zwack.
A punch from the 33.
It's a drag race.
The Magic Man wins it Auto Club.
Bird's eye view of the Chicago street course. You can see the cars making their way to the top of this course. And over Grant Park, beautiful scene for a racetrack, wouldn't you say, Bradley?
Oh, absolutely. It's beautiful right there off the edge of the lake, and I believe it's Lake Superior. I might be geographically incorrect on that, but all the Great Lakes up there in the region, the Windy City, and that's partial to why there's so much wind in this place. Big Lake there north of Chicago. Just an amazing location. Imagined here on iRacing and put into full motion in real life through NASCAR, and it's fun to see something like that happen through collaboration. Remember, it wasn't maybe 4 years ago, 5 years ago that these guys were racing the simulator, the real life drivers, because they couldn't go to the actual racetracks, and now, you know, the legitimacy of eNASCAR and esports gained a lot of points that year.
Did.
Based off of what we saw.
It did. Little trivia question for you, Bradley. This is one of 2 racetracks to be designed on iRacing. What's the other one that made its way to real life?
Are we talking about a previous racetrack that was there and then came back?
Well, that's too easy, Bradley.
Oh, okay. Then it's not North Wilkesboro.
No, that track existed well before iRacing existed.
Right. But I remember the revamp of bringing that place back. What's the answer? I got nothing.
New Atlanta.
New Atlanta. Wow.
Yes. That was designed on iRacing, then brought to the real world once they proved proof of concept, and here we are. 3 years later,
Incredible.
I believe.
I don't think anybody would have got that answer right.
Into the restart zone for the second time tonight. Great launch for Keith that time. Side by side.
He just doesn't have the preferred line for this first corner.
He
That's
does for the
unfortunate.
next
Oh,
one.
contact behind him. 98 and the 10. A bike is around.
Oh, keep it straight. People losing
They're all
fenders. 4 wide. That's not
Bunched up
going to work.
again. Mike is going to hold and hug on the side of Harrison. They make it through somehow, but look at the cars fanning out, just trying to gain positions. Pulling the contact again here, and I think Fike's going to go for a ride.
There goes Loveland.
Oh, he cuts the nose off the 22, almost puts him in the wall. The 14 hits it again. It is chaos on these restarts.
Yeah, this racetrack is it's tough when there are more than one car wide. This track was not built for that. We go 2 by 2 into this particular corner. Everyone makes it through just fine.
Just want to say Trevor Keith has a little bit of right front damage. He has Rob Rader all over his back bumper for the second position. So the handling on that car might be compromised a little bit here as they go into turn 10.
Yeah, I see that right there. A little bit of a mistake somewhere on this course for the 15. Could be as simple as cutting one of those corners too short. We saw that last year. I believe Austin Dillon chasing down the leader for a stage. Pop the inside wall. Oh, there goes Grant Turner.
Oh, big wreck.
That is not a good spot to bring that car to a stop. Oh, we got big issues
They're
for the
even
22
making
and
more.
the 1. We have to go back and watch that one on a replay. So there is the 39.
We can get a blimp camera
Yeah,
shot
this
of
is
this.
this is the corner before. There he is.
I think, is it the 54 behind him here?
He just
He
got
just
loose on his
looped-
own. And then
Yeah,
the
he just
54
looped
caught him.
around. Okay.
What happened to the 22 here? Oh, he got sent into the side of the 1. Yeah, that's a lot of cars, a lot of damage right there.
Yes, it is. And if you want to look at the incident count that we were talking about in the beginning of this race, mine's not working, so I don't know what yours says right now, but I'll try to get you some information on how accurate those numbers were. Based off these entries right now, my incident count is it's kind of broken.
I can tell mine are all zeros, and I know that's not right. So
Yeah.
a lot of cars have hit walls and other cars here today. One driver who has not, Jeremy Burns, finds himself 2.8 ahead of the field. Trevor Keith specifically. Kyle Diaz struggling. He spun around. Nose into the inside wall.
26 is around. He might be able to get it going. He
Yeah,
will.
Got it right there. That's the hard part about these street courses is when you get spun, it's so
You gotta
hard
wait
to
for
get.
everyone.
It's hard to get turned back around without, backing into somebody.
I think that
all
crew
with
for
heavy
the
right front
84, yeah, I think the 84 has had, or 89 rather, has had to have the crew go out there and pick that bumper up a couple times here today.
Yeah, not a great race for a lot of drivers here. Obviously, Turner just spun. Michael Call having issues. Forget's having issues. Picklesheimer, Johnston, Likens. You know, there's some drivers here who just are not road drivers, and I think they would come by that honestly. I think they would say that honestly, that this is not their favorite discipline, and hey, that's all right. It's predominantly ovals, obviously, on this series, and this is one of, you're going to correct me again, but I think 5 road courses on the schedule.
You know, I don't have that information. I will get it though.
It's all right. We can look at it right here. Here's your schedule on the screen. Dakota. You got Chicago,
There's one.
Sonoma, Watkins Glen, Roval. I believe that is 5. Look,
Well, there you go.
all of the races on the schedule right there. As we watch the battle for 14th. Harrison and Loveland.
I'm also paying close attention still to this battle for second. It has not subsided either, and Trevor Keith has had his hands full within a 100th of a second right now as Rob Rader comes by. He's matching lap times lap after lap with him right now. Justice Murphy actually starting to pick up the pace a little bit. Last time by, he was about just shy of 1:30 around this place.
Issue
So
for the 21. Let's have a look at this one. Yep, that's not how you take that corner. Good job getting out of the way. Just
luckily, he still had an engine to move that car.
yeah, just overshot turn 1, but the magic smoke has left the engine. Back to that battle for second. Has not changed. Trevor Keith, Robert Rader right behind him. See the interval. Is there 4.3 back behind Burns? That gap is so small. Chris Nail with an issue. Yep, there is the 88 facing the wrong direction. Wild
He
ride
just
through
loops
the
it
loop.
around.
Yep.
He probably slid that car in the best place on the racetrack, though.
Agreed.
Fortunate for him, though, he can't move from that spot.
Right.
Nobody's going to hit him unless he moves.
That's right.
This battle between Keith and Rader has been going on since pretty much the green flag came back out there on lap 15. They have not, I don't know what mistake Keith made to get that damage, but I know that it is hindering that car because he was much faster in the first stint of this race. I'm just waiting to see if Rob is for real here and consistent, or if the tires are being driven off that car. I'm not entirely sure, but none of these guys are going to come into pit for tires, and there's not going to be any yellows to group the field back up. So this is what it is. If Rob makes a mistake and loses to 15, that might be all she wrote. So he has to hang with him lap after lap here.
It's going to be a tall order to do so, obviously. Hard to pass, as you've mentioned a few times. We've seen drivers try and make passes and bounce off of walls and miss corners altogether. So got to keep focused here. The Chicago Street Course got a driver down pit road. That is Chris Nail, just leaving his pit stall after that spin. Keith's going to gap it out to about 3 car lengths right here. Damage isn't hurting too bad, it looks like. Able to get off that corner pretty well, but you mentioned it before. Justice Murphy is not too far behind, 1.8 seconds, creeping into the picture.
Yeah, he's slowly working his way up there.
Loveland's
He's
around.
actually a little faster.
Oh,
Loveland in the
Richardson.
O2. He's
Goodness gracious. Just absolutely missed that corner. We got to go back and see
destroyed.
that one again. Yeah, that car is killed. Watch this.
That's turn 1. That's where you have the most speed on this racetrack.
just didn't turn. Never had a chance. Somehow able to keep that thing pointed in the right direction, though. That's the good news. The bad news is you can see the suspension on that car all pointed in the wrong direction.
And that is one unfortunate thing about the iRacing service, is that tire barriers have no cushion. They have no give, so when you hit one, it does just the same amount of damage as hitting a concrete wall. There's been a little bit of criticism about that here at this place because we saw a number of cars there last Sunday that were able to get going and with minimal damage because of that natural give that tire barriers have. That car, the whole right front is broken. I'm surprised that he's even able to turn that car.
This is wildly impressive. He hasn't hit much since that incident, but definitely ill handling on the 8. Yeah, he's going to be able to make it all the way back around here, hit the pit stall. That'll save him a lot of time on the toe. Yeah, tough break for the 8.
He's going to carry on, it looks like.
Oh, we're not pitting.
He's going to just keep on going. It must be just cosmetic. It looked like the right front was snapped off there originally.
It has to be.
He's locking it up again in 1.
He barely made that corner. I don't know if he knows how bad the damage is, but we're not going to tell him. He's just going to have to figure it out for himself. I'm sure he'll be all right. I think Loveland's called it a race. He's off the surface.
Little battle here between 3 cars, actually. Jackson McGeorge, Caleb Gilbert, Michael Bennett, 10th through 12th position are really close together. Gilbert has company from Michael Bennett. Remember, he had that damage earlier in the race that we thought, well, that car might be handling a little bit different now. It was off center, but he's been impressive as well. Speaking of cars that, you know, have damage but are still up to pace.
I think we're getting to the point where almost every car in this field has some sort of damage. And it's just varying degrees of how bad does this car drive. And 14 is doing a whale of a job. Able to keep it pointed in the correct direction. There he is in 12th. Let's ride on the roof of this 14. You can see him there with that HD webcam. Things looking sharp.
Now, he looks like he's mid-conversation with somebody in the Discord, and I don't know about you, Morgan, but I tend to mute guys, especially at tracks like this where timing is so important. You don't even pay attention to really what gear you're in. You just hear the cadence of the car, and it's all muscle memory and sound. And so if you can't hear that or feel the car at all times, have any kind of distractions, it's very difficult. So I don't know. He must be a little bit more little superhuman to be able to multitask like that, but I've not been able to talk and drive at the same time.
I think for me it depends on who it is, who's talking in my ear, how much they talk, what information they're relaying. That's what I really need to know. If it's stuff about how the race is going, I find that important and I want to listen to it, strategies and all that stuff. But if you're talking about what you had for dinner last Tuesday, I have a tendency to not listen too hard. Parker Johnson
definitely here on V-Speed, we're going to work on those cameras there out of the exit of turn 7.
Yes. I believe this is the first race that I've ever seen and not been a part of here at the Chicago Street Course. So work to do, of course, but we adapt, we overcome here on V-Speed. Kevin Orlando Jr. on pit road from the 12th position. Jeremy Burns still leads, no surprise there, and his camera's turned off, so I'm not going to share that. There he is.
Trevor Keith is about 5.5 seconds back. Rob Rader has lost some time to him. So those two are starting to spread out a little bit here in this top 3.
There's a look at your second place driver doing his work. Smoke in front of him. So it's all going to get cleared up by the time he gets there.
Well, Morgan, I know it's your show, but what do you say? We're past the halfway mark. You want to hear some sounds of these 600 horsepower stock cars go around Chicago?
I think that is a great idea, Bradley.
Well, find your volume knobs, guys. Turn it up here a little bit. Here on V-Speed, let's get loud for a few laps.
Pitting time.
Hey, we got loud there. Rob Raider really got loud. He's trading punches back here. I don't know if you're seeing that or not, Morgan, but they were going back and forth.
Oh, I saw it. We got a real close up of that Mustang logo on Rob Raider into turn 1, right as we went to the Get Loud segment. But it's pitting time. We are in the window to make it to the end on fuel. Trevor Keith, the first one to hit pit road, and let's see if that pays dividends. Looks like he will be, depending who you look at, probably about a second faster per lap than what he has been running. See how that works out for him. There's Trevor Keith off pit road, back to the 8th position. A lot of drivers on pit road right here.
I'm still trying to find the information on the incident count. iRacing is even showing dashes through these drivers, but I think it's pretty safe to say there hasn't been very many cars unscathed. We're actually looking at one there a moment ago with Raider. Burns, of course, is untouched. You could even maybe say there's a 1 or a 2X there from the contact between second and third, but there's not very many cars that are as shiny and as clean as they were when they began this race.
No, that is for sure. This racetrack, like we said at the top of the show, it's difficult, it's tricky, there's just nowhere to hide. There's no runoff area, like Bradley said. If you miss one of these corners, it's a tire barrier, and you're going to eat it. You're going to hit it head on. You're going to feel it. Somebody just felt one. He just heard it on the broadcast. Somebody popped a wall somewhere. All 3 of these cars have popped a wall somewhere.
I was going to say, I think it was the 39 of Grant Turner. They're still making contact as they go into turn 5. It's Kevin Orlando on the inside. They're going to hold on to it.
They don't do it there. They're able to single file it back out.
Minions Machine and Kevin Orlando is just holding on to it there.
And
he's
going
to. Oh, wow. If you have TV3 on that, Kevin Orlando just about ended his day on the entry pit wall.
Here we go.
Look how close this is. This is a late commitment.
Oh, yeah, that's a near day ender.
So Rob Raider, who has stayed out here, he is now 18 laps, 17 laps for Burns. Not quite sure on that math. Unless we're looking at, I guess Rob did come in there before the stage break.
Did.
So it's about a lap difference. He'll come down pit road now. So the 53 is in. Jeremy Burns still out on the racetrack with over a 10-second lead as it starts to stretch out even more. The cars behind him have hit pit road. John Fike still out there on the racetrack. Remember, he came down during the stage break, so he'll stay out there a little bit longer. Do these cars that pitted on the stage break have enough to make it to the end?
They do not. No, the pit window, or the fuel run is only 16 laps. So this should be about his last lap he'd be able to go. Obviously, there was 28 laps to go after that stage flew, so no chance they're stretching it that far. That would be... that car be cheated up, as they say. Grant Turner's around. Entrance to pit road. Can't get this thing righted either. There it is.
Okay, I was going to say, you got to get that thing out of the way because there's a really good chance you get hit. A lot of these guys are coming down pit road at this point. Car in the wall just behind him there. I think that was the 26 that made a brush with it. Diaz was chasing a car in front. I think it's Matt Robinson. Heavy damage on both these cars. They look like they've been through a cheese grater.
Yeah, it's hard to tell where they've hit, what they've hit, how much they've hit. There's another one right there for the 26. See Harrison back there in the wall a little bit too. He made an unscheduled stop earlier. Finds himself 14th. And these cars fighting inside the top 15. So that tells you how hard this racetrack is. You know, some of your top half of the field drivers who have hit everything but the pace car tonight.
We still have about 23, 24 cars left in this race.
Fike's on pit road. Sorry, he's not. Burns on pit road. Fike takes the lead. Caleb Gilbert on pit road. Michael Call Soldiers on, up to 24th. Only Daniel Holloway is running, and behind him, obviously still on pit road, he is 9 laps down. A lot of drivers out of the race. Michael Bennett, Chris Nail, Parker Johnston, James Loveland, Dylan Picklesheimer, Al Likens, Daryl Johnson, Christopher Schaefer, Tay McDonald have all retired from the event. For those of you watching at home who haven't seen your favorite driver, that's probably where they are. Forget down pit road. Diaz finally got that pass made.
You actually dropped a name on me there. Forget Berube is well into the top 15, maybe a shot at a top 10 here.
Ooh, issue
He
for
comes
the
back
22.
out on the race. Yeah, he's got a lot of damage. I think he was just letting the 19 by there.
Yeah, I wasn't familiar with how much damage the Travis Gilbert got. I guess that was from that incident, that Grant Turner incident out of the last corner. Probably where all that damage is from, but he's also running a modified here tonight. Yeah, Forget in the 15th spot, chasing down Nick Alves.
Yeah, he's got a chance at the top 10 here today after starting that deep in the field. That's impressive. There's still 15 spots gained. Biggest mover of the race so far, and still a lot of work left to be done as we have 10 laps to go.
He is doing a pretty good job, as he always does on these road courses. This driver is just exciting to watch. He may not always run up at the front, but you know he's going to drive this thing hard no matter what position it's for.
I'll tell you, the very first broadcast there where I filled in for you, Morgan, he won that race. And
Yes.
just so many runner-up positions at those ovals that he was able to get one. You know that when you're finishing in the top 3 at those places repeatedly, a win's right around the corner.
Yeah, he called his shot the week before. In fact, I was hoping to be on that broadcast, obviously unable to make it. That was Kansas, I believe. At Dover the week before, he said, I'm going to go out and win at Kansas next week, and sure enough, he did. And then I think he ran also well at Iowa the other week that I had missed a few ago. But
Yeah, he did. Top 3, I believe, second position. He was close. He was within arm's reach of the lead, but just didn't have enough there. Watching a battle here between Kevin Orlando and John Fike.
This is to stay on the
This
lead
is
lap
not.
for Orlando.
Yeah, this is not for a position. You'll see the 10 come down pit road. Jeremy Burns is going to resume the lead here as he goes by.
What that could have been for McGeorge on pit road as well. What that could have been for Fike was just get a lap led, get an extra point, and that adds 1 to your finishing position. Because Jeremy Burns on another planet today. I don't think there's much of a hope on raw pace of getting that 9 car. Remember, Keith, the closest to him, Raider, has not left the 15.
No, he's not. He's hanging right with him.
He is
hanging right with
there.
him.
And I believe with
They
McGeorge and Fike pitting, that should complete the pit cycle as well, with 8 laps to go.
There's one car that might have to bring it back in. I didn't see any time in the box. I don't know if that's accurate or not, but Caleb Gilbert in the 10th position. I don't have any telemetry on his stint here for some reason, but I would like to believe that he did come down pit road.
He hit pit road 2 laps ago, is what I see.
Yeah, just nothing
I
in the
think
box
he sped
there.
on pit road is what that was.
Okay.
That would be my guess, because he didn't hit the pit box, but he did make a pit stop. I remember seeing him on pit road, so must have had an infraction of some sort. Unfortunate break for the 5-4. He finds himself in the 10th position. Carter Lynn's going for a pass. And caught the outside wall on the exit. Crossover, 98. See what they can do down here into, I'm going to call this Xfinity corner. I don't know what number this is.
He's going to double cross him over. This might be the spot. He's all over that back bumper here through turn 5, and he overshoots it going into 6 around the statue and loses the left front of that machine.
As the kids say, that'll buff out.
It'll buff out. That's a pretty hard lick, though. It's going to knock a couple tenths off this car for sure. if nothing else, it'll knock a couple tenths off your line because you're going to be a little more cautious the next time you come through there.
That was always my issue, is once I hit something, I never really went near it for a while. It's hard to repeatedly hit the same thing and feel good about yourself. Matt Robinson got passed by Tyler Harrison. That's for 12th and 13th. Diaz up ahead of them. I think it's time for a through the field. What do you think, Bradley?
Yeah, I was just about to mention back here in the middle of the field, but go ahead.
Let's start off with Jeremy Burns. Again, the driver camera is turned off, so we will not see him on the driver cam. He is leading. He's led almost every lap today. A lot of speed in that number 9. Trevor Keith finds himself in the 2nd position, as he has for most of this race, trying to chase down Jeremy Burns. 3rd spot is Rob Rader in the 53 from 13th. Justice Murphy, 4th position. Trevor Erhardt up 7 spots to the 5th position. John Fike, right where he started, in 6th. Jacob Sirkovich, he is up 4 to 7th. Carter Linz, maybe we'll find a better camera than this, it's hard to say. Carter Linz, there he is in 8th. Jackson McGeorge is in 9th, and Caleb Gilbert, talked with him a little bit earlier, he is 10th. Kyle Diaz in the 26th, he is 11th. Tyler Harrison, talked with him earlier as well, he is in 12th. There's Matt Robinson behind him in 13th. Alex Forget is 14th. Nick Alves, 15th. There is Grant Turner. In fact, here's a treat for you. There are Grant Turner's feet. As he works his way through this race course, you can see just how difficult it is.
Don't worry, you don't have to pay extra for this. Anybody out there watching right now?
Yeah, this is included with the subscription. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. There he is.
I was just about to mention that Alves and Forget were going to battle there for a moment, but Forget has already made the pass. He's pulling away. He's actually catching up to Matt Robinson now.
Ryan Settle-Hudgens, the last 2 drivers on the lead lap. That was Diaz, you had said?
Yeah, actually, Forget Berube got around Nick Alves, and that was for 14th position. He's going after Matt Robinson now. Last time by, he was about a second faster. So he's on the way, and it's about an 8-second gap, though. So it's probably going to take the remainder of this race for him to get up to Matt Robinson, but very good chance that he can catch him.
Yeah, definitely got a lot of pace in this 19. As always, he does every week. Scraps and claws and finds himself in the top 15.
And then another thing to point out last time by, Rob Rader, much faster than Trevor Keith. So that's another car that we're going to see a battle between 2nd and 3rd here before the end of this thing. I have a feeling that Rob has been kind of conservative, nursing this car around the racetrack. I think he's very much going to be on the back bumper with about 5 to go here when we cross the stripe. I think the last couple laps are going to get really interesting for this podium position.
Not only was Rob Rader faster than Trevor Keith, he's the fastest car on the racetrack, faster than Jeremy Burns as well.
Yeah. Well, and I think Burns is probably just kind of in cruise control mode. Probably distracted at this point, looking for, oh, we got a car in the Watts at 24.
Big issues.
Alves.
Big issues for
That
Alves.
car done.
Let's see, find out what happened to him. Oh, we had issues well before this. Let's see here, it's running good right there. Oh, there it is.
No.
That's a big one. That's into 2, I believe, or into
2 or 3. Yeah, that's thing is done. And it's not braking anymore. That's where we caught up to him. He's finally nursed it back to pit road, but the whole left side of that car is not responsive, and he's probably going to overshoot this pit box as well.
5 laps to go. I think that's the first time Raiders been in the wall at all, trying to chase down Trevor Keith. They can see Jeremy Burns. He's 4.6 up the road. It's going to be a tall task, though. 4.6 seconds in 5 laps.
Yeah, Burns just showed him, I can still do it. He ran out there and ran a 128, so he's a full second faster, pulls back out. whatever time they made up the last time by, that he just got it all back.
Like he was working on Reinstedt was why that previous lap was a little off the pace, trying to work around that lap traffic. And that's all it was for Jeremy Burns. Closest battle on the racetrack, Gilbert McGeorge. How about Linz McGeorge? 8th and 9th. This is, there they are, over the bridge.
I don't know. The second and third's really close right now, coming out of the final corner there for a moment. Raider got up on the back bumper and leaned on the 15 of Keith and pushed him into the entry. He's going to do it again here on the exit of 1.
Well, 4 laps to go. You're running out of opportunities to make this pass happen.
I think a nice gearbox cam from the back of the 15 would probably show you here going into turn 3 how close these guys have been getting. I think Raider is just braking a little bit later than Keith. And look how close, a tag with the wall.
Yeah, Keith popped the inside wall just a bit. I don't think it's going to hurt that car too bad.
Good exit there out of 4.
Yeah, Raider gains a lot of time in the braking zone.
He's a lot faster in the second half of this track. This is where Rob's going to make up his ground. For whatever reason, it's just this side of the racetrack. Maybe it's the rough asphalt, but he tends to gain through this portion right here. Actually loses the back end a little bit through the bumps. But watch right here. He's going to gain so much right here. And into the inside, change for second. With 3 laps to go when they cross the stripe, the 15 of Keith a little early on the gas and almost sends it around, but he's got it back under him.
Well, for Trevor Keith, that's a tough blow. Raiders been behind them all day, but you're still in 3rd spot. Still a great points day, and you still got 15 seconds out the back to Justice Murphy, so no reason to fret right now. Let's log some clean laps here. See if we can bring it home in the podium, but Raiders slipped out of 2.
Yeah, he did. He made a little mistake, and that could reel back in. Raider better run away now, because you give Trevor Keith another opportunity, he's definitely going to take it. There's no time left.
Oh, big crash back here. Carter Linz, Gilbert. That's out of the last corner. Richardson still going with that that pigeon-toed car.
There is no time left, and the opportunity presents itself here into turn 3. Now across the hill, over the train tracks. This is the part of the track where Keith is a little faster, but Raider able to hold defense. Now he's going to go through turns 5 and 6 and maybe pull away.
The Raider drove it in real deep there, and he kind of used up the 15 just a little bit, took the line away. I don't know if that's going to make Trevor Keith too happy, but he's still got 2 more laps to figure it. Oh, he missed the corner.
Oh, he missed it right there.
Didn't hit anything. That's the good news. Has a
But
huge
where's
gap.
Justice Murphy? Yeah, he's good on that. He's not going to lose any spots, but he's not going to gain now.
Now it's just protect mode for the 15. It's a tough break, but all in all, that's 1 point. Not the end of the world. Only drivers within a second on the racetrack right now. Matt Robinson, Tyler Harrison. This battle for the 13th position. These drivers are beside each other the entire race. They cannot get away. We are about to hit the white flag.
It's like another bumper there laying on the racetrack.
That's the 39. That's Grant Turner. Big issue. Oh, I thought that was a car rolling in the background. Goodness gracious. Let's see what happened to Grant Turner here before we get to the Erhardt Holmes white flag. Into turn 2 again. Yeah, same issue.
Claimed a few people. Al's got that, and now the 39
Then it
finishes
really
it off there.
Yeah.
Well, we're coming out of the last 2 corners here for the white flag presented by Erhardt Holmes in the Erhardt Holmes street race that's been dominated by Jeremy Burns. Morgan, I know that we dream about having races like this, but Jeremy's had so many of them. We could go back and talk about how many times he's came to a road course and just walked the field. Another example of how good he is on these road races.
This would be the third one this season, but Erhardt Homes, love where you live, sponsor the last lap, sponsor the race, and Jeremy Burns, he is going to enjoy this one. How many corners left now, Bradley?
I'm going to say 7. I'm not exactly sure of what they count here. I think this is going to be turn 2 and then turn 3. So now we're going with turn 4. Yeah, 7 corners now. How about that?
All right, well, here he is all alone down this back stretch into, I think this is 6. There
Nope,
he goes.
that would be 3. I don't even know either, but this is 4 and 5.
Road courses are hard, guys. We're doing our best out here.
Burns knows it.
Yeah,
Burns
Burns knows
this
his place
like
at
the back of his hand.
I was just going to say that. He has been unreal here today. There's on the screen 33 laps led. And as long as he can negotiate these last 2 corners, he's going to get through here just fine.
He'll bring it on home.
He's going to lead the last one through the last corner. Jeremy Burns is going to win in Chicago. What an absolutely dominant run for Jeremy Burns.
Still have about 20 cars that have to come across the stripe here. Trevor Keith now finishing Justice Murphy across the line. Trevor Erhardt, how about the recovery there for the 41? He had problems very early in this race. He's going to get a top 5 here today.
There's Fike. That was 6th. There's our 7th place finisher. As we're slowly getting through them all.
Burns has found an access road. He is burning it down here.
There he is. That's not an. That's just the racetrack.
That's the racetrack. Okay.
It looks like an access road, but it's not an access road.
I think he's about to get sent.
There it is. Took a bit of a hit there. That's the only time that car has hit anything besides impressive lap times and the rest of this field. Great run for Burns. That's his 3rd road course win this season.
6th overall.
Yeah, just an unreal year for the number 9. We're going to catch up with him here. No one can catch up to him. Catch up with him. Well, he's done his burnout. Have an interview here live right after it happens. This is the longest racetrack. We're trying to find a place to do a burnout, however. I think we've all crossed the finish line. It looks like we have. The race is officially over here in Chicago. Customary podium finishers all get on the front stretch, take their picture, and they burn it down. And they earned it today. Right in front of Trevor. Jeez. Oh, man. That's tough.
A shout out back to what we saw there Sunday where the 48 accidentally nosed it into the wall trying to do a burnout. Such a narrow racetrack and trying to find a location that's suitable to burn it down.
Well, it is in fact a public roadway. One that was not designed to go this fast, at least I hope not. But I think we can go catch up with Jeremy Burns now if you want to go grab him, bring him down to the studio.
For whatever reason, do not have the ability to do that currently.
I will see if I can find the Element X driver. There he is. Jeremy Burns, Bradley, and Morgan up in the V-Speed booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Well, I would imagine you're pretty happy right now. Also, can you turn your driver cam on?
Yes. Let me
Okay.
see here.
I see you have it up on the
Yeah.
screen here, but it's not transmitting anything. While you're working on
Oh,
that, obviously, absolutely stellar race today. Led the vast majority of the laps. Started on the pole. Really is as close to a perfect race as you can get on a road course, as we've seen all season long. Is this something that we should just expect every time you got to turn right and left?
I don't know, man. I've been wanting that one for a while. I felt like I was pretty strong there last season, and unfortunately got taken out in some lap one chaos. So being able to come back here and put together a solid race like that is definitely something that we're looking forward to doing. And I mean, I don't know. I like these road courses. I know Trevor Keith and Rob were out there, and they were pushing the envelope, and they were doing very well. And I know that they've improved so much, and they're trying to get up there with me, and it's just truly awesome to see us pushing ourselves and becoming better drivers as a league. And I gotta give a shout out to everybody in the league, man. They did an amazing job tonight. Whether they were a lap car and they got out of the way, or you had a lot of guys that were very competitive tonight. So really proud of everybody that came out tonight and stuck it out.
This racetrack is very different from anywhere else that we go on the schedule all season long. I think you mentioned last year this was the one road course you didn't win, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah.
What makes this one so much more difficult than, say, a Watkins Glen that also has a lot of these 90-degree corners?
At Watkins Glen, you can have some runoff, right? Here you have concrete barriers and tire barriers that act like concrete barriers. So you really have to be on point. And I heard Trevor Keith had some wheel damage, so it just goes to show how easy it is to get that wheel damage. And at that point, your night's gonna be very set back at that point because then you have to deal with wheel damage and braking and everything like that. So it's extremely difficult to nail it, and fortunately we were able to nail it for all 38 laps, and we even had a little bit extra there for a burnout, so that was pretty cool.
Right on. I want to ask you a mental question here. So obviously we talk about drivers making mistakes at this racetrack. Concrete barriers very close, easy to slip up. What is it that you do to prepare for these races mentally so that you don't make those kind of mistakes?
You have to stay engaged from the drop of the green flag, talking strategy, talking this, that, and the other. I felt like I may have talked the ears off of the guys in the team chat tonight, but it was all to make sure that we were still focused on the common goal, because when you have no runoff area, it's incredibly easy to slip up and miss a braking zone. And at that point, you can toe link it, destroy the engine. I mean, you saw Tay lap one. I mean, his night was over before it even began. So it's that easy to do it. And it's nothing against the drivers, because it takes so much skill to put it together for 38 laps. And I mean, like, that's why I just have to give a huge shout out to everybody in the league that was able to do it. Because I mean, really, it is a huge accomplishment to run competitively on a track like this with a car like this that bottoms out everywhere you go because of a rear diffuser. I mean, it's just awesome. So yeah, huge shout out to everybody in the league, and just gotta stay focused.
Right on. Well, while you're on the shout out train, why don't you go through your routine that you've perfected so far with number 6 this year? Go ahead.
Whew. That's pretty crazy here, number 6. That's pretty cool. But I gotta shout out my mom and dad. I gotta shout out my cousin Dylan, Coach P, Sonny, my grandma, Miss Betsy, for their continued support. Julie, Derek, Caroline, Shan, Belinda, and Betty. Uh, Huge shout out to all of them. They watch in every week. So any other supporters of the league. I know Terry Hudgens out there. He probably had some things to say tonight. Element X Racing for keeping me engaged tonight, and Rob getting that second place finish, and Caleb getting that top 10. So that was pretty cool. Chapman Environmental for being on the hood. They've been to victory lane a lot this season, so definitely glad to get their exposure. Glad to be representing that company. Buttkicker, Coast Financial, Ultimate Exterior Lighting, Erhardt Homes, All About Bugs, V Speed, the admins, and all of them. Huge shout out to all of them, because without them, we wouldn't have anything. So just gotta shout out them, and obviously Erhardt Homes for sponsoring the race. So yeah, I think that's it. And huge shout out to Trevor Keith too, because he's put in a lot of work, and it showed tonight. So huge shout out to him and Rob and everybody else.
Yeah, you top 3 were pretty much untouchable here tonight. Well, that is your winner, everybody. Jeremy Burns here at the Chicago Street Course.
Oh, can I say one more thing?
Of course you can.
A huge shout out to John Fike. We're celebrating our 1-year anniversary from the first time that we ever had a run-in with one another. So huge shout out to him. He got the stage win tonight. He did a phenomenal job. So huge shout out to him.
All right, that is not what I was expecting, but good job, John Fike. He did win that stage. Yeah, that was a good strategy call on his part. But once again, your winner, everybody, Jeremy Burns. Thanks, Jeremy.
Yes, sir. Thank you, guys.
All right, and
I
with
mean,
that,
a one year anniversary, Morgan. Is that what he said? So is
what I heard.
what did you get me? He got him a lap lead. That's what he did.
Hey, stage win, stage points. That's
Yeah.
important.
Yeah.
Anyway, we are going to have a quick commercial break. We'll be back right after this with your results and the interviews of second and third place. You've been watching Chapman Environmental Services Cup Series, more specifically the Erhardt Homes Street Race here at Chicago. Be back right after this.
So Chapman's been around for 32, almost 33 years. It's a great company. We've built it from 10 people not all that long ago to 32 people today. We continue to grow. We're hiring people all the time. If there's one thing that I could do, like before my time is up at Chapman, it is making sure that we've built a company that will stand the test of time. And my goal as the current owner of the company, or one of the owners of the company, is to ensure that we can pass the ownership of the organization on to the next generation of people coming up the ranks today. One area of our business where we impact the local communities pretty heavily is the school systems. So we work for school systems all over the northern part of the state of New Jersey. We operate their water systems, their wastewater systems. We do a lot of their permitting and compliance work, and we ensure that the water that the kids drink is clean. We go out and do the sampling to ensure that it's not contaminated. And we also treat the wastewater that's being generated at a lot of these facilities as well before it gets discharged to the environment. So we are supporting the local community through supporting the boards of education and the local school systems.
All About Bugs Tennessee Pest and Termite Control is all about family too. Our family-owned business has successfully been in operation in Sevierville and surrounding areas for almost a decade. Especially during these times, a pest-free home is necessary for a sustainable, disease-free home or business. Our services include residential, rental, commercial, hotel, motel, cabins, you name it. Free quotes and inspections for new customers, and most of our services are contract-free. Our All About Bugs Tennessee family is devoted to delivering the best possible pest control service with a friendly smile. Contact us at 865-453-5574 today.
If it's bugging you, you should be bugging us.
And here comes Milo. Big run out of 4. He's going to be there.
Tristan Martin's there. Cannot count out to 37.
Oh!
The ball gets burned!
Cabot, where did he come from? Here comes Slack.
A push from the 33.
It's a drag race.
The Magic Man wins it Auto Club.
Back here at the Chicago Street Course with the results of the Erhardt Homes Street Race. Your winner, Jeremy Burns. led most of the lap, started on the pole. Dominant race for him. Already spoke with your race winner, Rob Rader and Trevor Keith. Interviews coming up right after this. Good runs for both of those guys. Justice Murphy finds himself in the 4th position. Good run for the 12. Erhardt, way to keep it together after an early incident, finds himself in the 5th position. John Fike won the stage, finished exactly where he started in the 6th spot. Jacob Sirkovich in 7th. Great run, up 11 positions. Jackson McGeorge, right around where he started, back 1 spot to 8th. Caleb Gilbert finds himself 9th after starting 16th. And Carter Linz, a quiet top 10 after starting 22nd. Kyle Diaz finds himself finishing 11th in the 26. Tyler Harrison finishes in the 12th spot. Robinson finds himself 13th. Alex Forget finishes in the 14th spot, up 16 positions. The biggest mover in the race, without a doubt. Dustin Reinstedel, 15th. Another mover throughout this race. First driver, 1 lap down. Devin Hudgens was driving a modified for most of this race. Rebounds for a top 20. Kevin Orlando Jr., 27 car, finishes 17th. Christian Bresnock in the 00 is 18th after starting 25th. Grant Turner, tough night for him, 19th spot after starting in 15th. First driver, 2 laps down. Travis Gilbert had issues, caught up in an incident off of the last corner. He finishes 20th here tonight. 21st, Brandon Richardson in the pigeon-toed number 8 brought it home. 10 spots up in 21st. Nick Alves missed a corner, found himself 22nd. Michael Bennett was off the racetrack, 12 down. He finished 23rd. Chris Nail, 24th. Michael Call, 25th. All these drivers with significant damage at one point or another. The Candyman, Daniel Holloway, finishes 26th. Parker Johnston with a T, 27th. James Loveland, V Speedone, 18 laps down in 28th. Dylan Picklesheimer, 29th, right where he started. Al Likens finishes in 30th. 31st, Daryl Johnson, the 49. Chris Schaefer, 32nd. And Tay McDonald, lap 1 crash, took him out early. He finished 33rd today. So that is a look at how this race went down. Now, it's time to get trackside. Bradley Cooper has caught up with Rob Rader.
Yes, I have. Hey, Rob, and I tell you what, man, you and Trevor Keith went back and forth, haymaker after haymaker. It came down to those last 5 laps or so. It looked like you were a little bit faster on the second half of this racetrack. Take us through what you found as a weakness on that 15.
That second to last corner there, turn 11 was where I had identified was probably going to be my best shot with TK, because I mean we were just running lap times that were so close, and I felt like I was better under braking, but I just could never get a run off a corner good enough to get beside him. And I'm talking to Jeremy, and he's like, "Yeah, you know, during the practice race with TK, you know, turn 11 was his weakest spot." And I'm like, "Okay, so I've identified the right weakness because Jeremy identified the same one, so we're just going to go in here and ship it." And we did successfully, fortunately. And from there, I guess it was all good. We battled some more after that, and he scared me a couple of times. I'm sure I scared him a couple of times. It was a lot of fun, though. It was a ton of fun, and you know, it's a shame Jeremy's just way too fast for everybody else. I wish that would have been a race for the lead, but we'll take second for sure.
You were able to stay within 5 or 6 seconds there for the remainder of that race, but that first stint, it looked like you had benefited a lot from the carnage or the chaos at the very start of the race. You gained 9 spots. Go back to that at the beginning of the race. There, are you thankful that it happened, or were you predicted that you were going to be up here anyway?
No, I didn't predict to make it that far up, but I mean, chaos definitely helped a little. What helped more was me being stupid. On the entry to turn 1, I cleared 6 cars going into turn 1 on the first lap, kind of sort of by accident. I hadn't had an opportunity to practice for this race, so I didn't really know where to brake, if we're being honest, on the initial start. So I pulled out a line to the left so I could see when everyone was braking, and just got in there what I thought was too hot. But I think everybody else is pretty conservative, and I cleared 3 rows of cars heading into turn 1, and I still ended up making a little contact, I think, with Jackson So apologize for dooring him a little bit, but ultimately it worked out pretty cleanly, surprisingly. And then they got together in front of me and gave me a couple more, but yeah, it was just a little bit of dumb and a little bit of dumb luck to get there, and then had pace to stay there, fortunately.
Outside of that, I mean, don't sell yourself short. You were talented out here today. You were a very fast car, running within a second or two of the leader. Jeremy Burns is impressive in itself. Anybody got to shout out here for tonight's podium?
Yeah, shout out to Erhardt Homes. Pretty cool to have them help us out the sponsorship tonight, even though he didn't have the greatest race. So shout out to them. Shout out to EXR and the team, and Chapman Environmental Services, who sponsors the team, sponsors the league, helps us, have these awesome broadcasts from you guys over at V Speed. Thank you guys for those. We got a long list of sponsors. I can't remember right now. I'm sweating like a pig, man. I am ready to go find some air conditioning somewhere.
Well, we thank you for your time, Robert, and as always, go see you next week. Well, I had that information in front of me, but I've lost it.
Pocono.
We'll see you next Pocono,
Yeah,
the Tricky
Pocono. There
Triangle.
you go.
There we go. We'll
Yeah.
see you
How many
next
turns
week
does
in
that have, you
Pennsylvania.
think, Bradley?
I,
How many
I,
turns
I
are you
would
taking?
say probably 3. I
5.
was a little off here
You're going
today.
3? I'm
Yeah.
on team 5, Morgan. So
Right on.
Yeah.
there you go.
Glad to have you.
Pit Road. I forgot the entrance and exit to Pit Road. That's what it was.
All right,
Thanks,
that
boys.
is
Appreciate
second
you.
place finisher Robert Rader here tonight. Congratulations once again, and we'll catch you next week at the Tricky Triangle. And Bradley's going to do the sprint down pit road. Find himself third place finisher Trevor Keith.
Hey, I have
guys.
Trevor Keith here. Hey, Trevor, I tell you, we saw you guys going back and forth. It looked like you were just a little bit off. You tried to send it even further there in those final 2 turns to try to get it back, but yeah, I mean, you ran a stellar race. It just there in the last 5 laps, one position got away from you. I mean, hold your head high though. You still got it.
Yeah. I'm happy with third. I mean, I had more pace than I know I did, but I mean, I kind of hard on myself on that one. But third's really, I mean, that's 4 top 3s in the last 5 weeks. So, I mean, we're still red hot. And I know I had more today than what I showed. I hit the wall in that first stage. I got wheel damage, and it kind of messed me up for the rest of the race. I don't think I was ever catching Burns. I wanted to so bad, but man, that dude's fast. Racer Rob was a lot of fun. I mean, he won this race last year, so I mean, I was right there with him the whole way until I messed up 11. So I mean, that guy, he's fast about everywhere you go. So anytime you race it with those two, you know you got something clicking for you. Yeah, happy with third. I knew I had more. I wish I'd have found it today.
When you hang it out there to dry, sometimes it gets you in a situation like we saw at the very start of the race and at the very start of the stage where you're in a bad spot. You elected to pit a little early there. Was that part of the plan coming in here? We're going to short pit on this stage and put ourselves in a better spot later on?
Oh yeah, it was part of the plan the whole way. We tested it out, made sure it worked, and just didn't want to lose that track position. You know, you go out after the stage and stay out and say, you know, I win the stage, but then I restart 7th. Who knows what happens from there? I get wrecked or something like that. So I knew I had to restart second if I had any shot for a podium. That was a given. I knew Burns was probably going to do it. I didn't know if Rob was going to do it or not, but I knew if Burns was going to do it, I'm just going to have to do it too. So.
Well, outside of that, Trevor, third place here tonight. I know you got a list of people that back you up and put you out here on the racetrack, give you a reason to do this. Go ahead and thank those people while we got you.
Oh, yeah, we're going to thank my teammates, Justice, Jacob, and Daniel. Always in my ear. Justice, especially today, kind of calmed me down. I was a little frustrated with my pace. He helped me get through the day, even though I still messed up a little bit. But he was in my ear, telling me calm down, breathe easy. I'm fast. And so I appreciate him for that. Shout out KSX, make the paint schemes. We got the Diamond out there today. Love that car. It's one of my favorites. Shout out all the league sponsors. All About Bugs. Chapman Environmental Services, Coastal Financial, Erhardt Homes. I'm blanking on another one again. Another week where I'm blanking on another one. I
Ultimate
need to memorize
exterior
these.
lighting.
Ultimate exterior lighting.
There you go.
And every week, last week I missed all about bugs, and that's my teammates get thing. So struggle with that. Maybe we need to start working on that too. But yeah, it was a lot of fun today. I mean, racing Rob was a lot of fun. We were clean. I about took him out on accident when I missed 11. So it was a lot of fun. We'll be back for the next road course. We'll see if we have something else for Burns and Rob.
Well, you didn't thank Goodyear for those tires that slid him through that final 2 corners, but we will see you next week at Pocono. We appreciate your time, Trevor Keith. Congratulations.
Oh,
And
one more thing. Next week at Pocono, it's me and Matt Robinson for the Summer Bracket Challenge in the finals. So
there you go. That's good to know. We were looking for
also-
that information.
we also made the finals in the Summer Bracket. And fun
For
fact, me and
$100,
Matt,
right?
I'm not sure. I know me and Matt battled it out for Rookie of the Year last year at the last race of the year. So kind of a little rematch between us two. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
Who won that battle?
Looking forward to it.
I did. I won by 1 point, or we tied, and I had the highest finish, I think. So
That'll do.
yeah. So it was kind of wild.
The rematch continues. Well, there you go. The Tricky Triangle in Pennsylvania next week. Trevor Keith, 3rd place. Stay red hot. We'll see you next week.
Thank you.
All right, and that
Will
will
do.
just about do it for our broadcast here this evening. Don't forget to join us next week as we head to Pocono. That is July 17th in the Pocono Mountains here, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time on V-Speed, as always. We bring you flag-to-flag coverage all season long. If you enjoyed tonight's race, be sure to click that like button, subscribe to the channel so you never miss a single race, single moment of the action. We have more content throughout the week. We're just about to pick up again and have streams every single day. It's going to be a thrilling fall, winter, and it carries on all year long. It's going to be a good time here on V-Speed. But for everybody here, Adam Baker, Eddie Smith, and my co-commentator Bradley Cooper, I've been Morgan Cook. Have a great evening. Thank you, and good night.
Chapman's been around for 32, almost 33 years. It's a great company. We've built it from 10 people not all that long ago to 32 people today. We continue to grow. We're hiring people all the time. If there's one thing that I could do, like before my time is up at Chapman, it is making sure that we've built a company that will stand the test of time. And my goal as the current owner of the company, or one of the owners of the company, is to ensure that we can pass the ownership of the organization on to the next generation of people coming up the ranks today. One area of our business where we impact the local communities pretty heavily is the school systems. So we work for school systems all over the northern part of the state of New Jersey. We operate their water systems, their wastewater systems. We do a lot of their permitting and compliance work, and we ensure that the water that the kids drink is clean. We go out and do the sampling to ensure that it's not contaminated. And we also treat the wastewater that's being generated at a lot of these facilities as well before it gets discharged to the environment. So we are supporting the local community through supporting the boards of education and the local school systems.
All About Bugs Tennessee Pest and Termite Control is all about family too. Our family-owned business has successfully been in operation in Sevierville and surrounding areas for almost a decade. Especially during these times, a pest-free home is necessary for a sustainable, disease-free home or business. Our services include residential, rental, commercial, hotel, motel, cabins, you name it. Free quotes and inspections for new customers, and most of our services are contract-free. Our All About Bugs Tennessee family is devoted to delivering the best possible pest control service with a friendly smile. Contact us at 865-453-5574 today.
If it's bugging you, you should be bugging us.